Stop telling people your plans. Execute in silence. Let your results do the talking. The moment you speak your goals, people start watching, not to support you, but to see you fail. The world doesn't cheer for dreamers. It waits for them to stumble. That's why you need to shut your mouth and let your work speak. You don't need to post every step. You don't need validation. You need obsession. You need discipline. You need to become so dangerous in silence that when you finally arrive, no one knows how to react. Because they never saw it coming. Most people talk more than they act. They shout their goals from rooftops and then quietly quit when things get hard. You're not most people. You're not here to impress anyone with words. You're here to dominate with results. Every second you spend explaining what you're going to do is a second stolen from actually doing it. Success doesn't come to the loudest. It comes to the most consistent, the most focused, the most relentless when no one's watching. While they laugh, you grind. While they sleep, you build. While they scroll, you study. Silence becomes your weapon, because when you're silent, you're unpredictable. No one can sabotage what they don't know. No one can destroy what they can't see. Your silence becomes a shield. Your work becomes the sword. You don't need to announce your every move. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Let them doubt you. Let them call you crazy. That's fuel. That's pressure. And pressure is what turns coal into diamonds. The more they ignore you, the more dangerous you become. You become a storm they never saw coming. And by the time they realize it's too late, you've already taken the throne. You weren't born to seek approval. You were born to create impact, and impact doesn't require permission. It requires action. Ruthless, cold, unstoppable action. You grind in silence not because you're weak, but because you're focused. Because you're not interested in applause. You're interested in domination. So go dark. Let them underestimate you. Let them gossip, doubt, and whisper. While they waste energy watching others, you're building empires. You're mastering your mind. You're upgrading your body. You're building a life so powerful it doesn't need an introduction. And when the time is right, your results will roar so loud, they'll drown out every word ever spoken against you. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is strategy. Talk is cheap. Execution is everything. Be the man no one saw coming. Be the machine that doesn't stop. Be the legend that rose without warning. Let your results hit them like a hammer, because when it's all said and done, no one will remember what you said. They'll remember what you built. They won't believe in you until you succeed. So disappear, grind, and make them choke on your success. Understand this, the world doesn't care about your dreams. They don't believe in you, not because they're evil, but because they've seen too many people talk and never deliver. To them, you're just another voice in the crowd making promises you might not keep. That's why you need to vanish. You need to stop explaining, stop convincing, and stop seeking validation. Go silent. Work like a man possessed. Put in so much effort behind the scenes that the moment you return, the world has no choice but to respect what you've built. Most people want to be clapped for before they've earned anything. They want recognition without results. That's weakness. That's insecurity. Real men don't crave applause. They crave victory. You don't need their support. You don't need their understanding. You need action. Action that's so ruthless, so consistent. It turns your name into a weapon. While they're laughing at you now, thinking you're crazy, imagining you'll fail, you're in the shadows, becoming something they can't even comprehend. Every second you spend trying to prove yourself to people who doubt you is a second you're not improving yourself. Forget them. Their disbelief is irrelevant. Their opinions mean nothing. What matters is your work ethic when no one's watching. What matters is the fire you light inside yourself when everyone else has given up on you. That fire can't be faked. That hunger can't be bought. It's built in pain, sacrifice, and isolation. Disappearing isn't weakness, it's power. It's a strategy, because when you're gone, you're dangerous. They can't mock what they can't see. They can't sabotage what they don't know exists. You become a ghost with a mission. You're not out partying, scrolling, or talking. You're outworking everyone who ever doubted you. You're sharpening your mind, building your body, stacking your money, creating a life so powerful that when they finally see you again, their laughter turns into silence. And when you rise, because you will rise, they'll choke on it. They'll choke on the success they said you'd never have. They'll be forced to swallow their words as they watch you win, over and over, in ways they never thought possible. That's revenge. That's victory. That's the reward for disappearing and focusing on the grind. You don't need to tell them anything. You don't need to scream or shout or explain. Your success will be so loud it'll drown out every word they ever spoke against you. So go now, vanish, work like hell, and when you come back, don't come back the same man. Come back untouchable. Lions don't roar when they hunt. They move quietly. That's how killers operate. The loudest man in the room is rarely the most dangerous. The real predators don't announce their presence. They don't brag about their next move or shout about their plans. They stalk. They strategize. They move with precision and patience. That's why they win. A lion doesn't waste energy roaring before the kill. He saves every ounce of strength for the strike. That's how you need to operate in life. Most people make noise because they're insecure. They want attention, validation, and applause before they've earned a single victory. They tell the world their plans, hoping for encouragement, but all they get is doubt, criticism, and distractions. And even worse, they give away their element of surprise. You're not like them. You're not here to entertain anyone with talk. You're here to dominate, and domination requires silence until it's time to strike. When you move quietly, you protect yourself from sabotage. No one can block what they don't see coming. No one can ruin plans they don't know exist. Your silence becomes your shield. Your focus becomes your weapon. While others waste energy proving themselves with words, you're building an empire brick by brick. You're training your mind and body to be unshakable. You're preparing to hit with the kind of force no one expected. A killer doesn't need to announce he's dangerous. His presence alone is enough. That's how you need to become. A man so disciplined, so focused, and so relentless in the shadows that when you finally step into the light, the world freezes. They won't have time to react because they were too busy watching the loud ones. And you, the quiet one, have already won. Silence is power. Restraint is power. You don't need to roar to prove your strength. You don't need to talk about your grind. You need to live it. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're not a threat. That's their mistake. And when the moment is right, unleash everything you've built. Strike with precision. Strike so hard they never recover. That's how killers operate. The man who brags about being a lion isn't a lion. The man who silently hunts, calculates, and executes. That's the real predator. Become him. Stop talking. Start working. Save your energy for the kill. And when the time comes, let your actions roar louder than any words ever could. Your work ethic in the dark will create fireworks in the light. Greatness isn't built in front of an audience. It's built in the lonely hours when nobody is watching. It's built when you're tired, when you're doubting yourself, and when no one is there to clap for you. The world doesn't see the grind. It doesn't see the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the pain you push through. But one day, it will see the results. One day, the fireworks will explode so brightly that they won't be able to ignore you. And they'll call it talent, they'll call it luck. But deep down you'll know it was nothing but relentless work in the shadows. Most people fail because they want instant recognition. They want the applause before the performance. They want the rewards without the process. But the truth is, the process is where men are forged. The process is where you separate yourself from everyone else. When you're in the dark, grinding while everyone else is partying, sleeping, and wasting time, that's when you're building something unstoppable. The dark is where you grow. It's where you face your demons, where you push past limits, where you become someone you weren't yesterday. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, and it's necessary. Because when the light comes, you won't just show up. You'll explode. You'll dominate in a way that silences every doubt, every critic, every voice that said you couldn't do it. But you have to understand this. No one is going to save you. No one is going to drag you out of the darkness. It's on you to put in the hours. It's on you to show up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what separates the average from the exceptional. And discipline is built when no one is clapping, when no one is encouraging you, when no one even believes in you. That's where your power is born. You don't owe the world explanations. You don't owe them updates. All you owe them is results. And when those results come, they'll be so undeniable, so powerful, that no one will question how you got there. They'll just stand there watching the fireworks, wondering how they missed it, wondering how you went from invisible to unstoppable. Your moment in the light is coming, but only if you master the dark. So shut out the noise, stop looking for shortcuts, stop craving validation, commit to the grind so completely that when your time arrives, you don't just shine, you blind them. That's the reward for your work ethic in the dark. Fireworks in the light that no one can ever take away. The man who moves in silence is the most dangerous. No one can stop what they can't see coming. Power isn't loud. Real power operates quietly, hidden in plain sight. The man who talks less, posts less, and shares less is the one everyone should fear. He isn't distracted by applause or attention. He doesn't waste energy explaining himself or defending his plans. He's too busy executing. He's too busy building in the shadows. And that's why he's unstoppable. Because no one knows what's coming until it's too late. People love to talk about their goals. They want everyone to know they're working on something big. But talk doesn't build empires, action does. And when you move in silence, you give no one the chance to ruin your plans. They can't attack what they don't understand. They can't copy what they can't see. You create a storm that builds quietly, gathering force, until one day it hits and leaves everyone in shock. That's how dangerous men operate. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The ones who doubt you, the ones who gossip, the ones who think they know your next move. They're all distractions. Let them waste their time talking. Let them underestimate you. Their focus on you means they're not focusing on themselves. Use that advantage while they watch you work, while they doubt you build, and while they sleep, you prepare for a move so precise, so deadly, they won't even realize they've lost until you're standing on top. Silence is strategy. It gives you control. It keeps you unpredictable. No one fears the man who reveals his cards too soon, but the man they can't read, the man they can't predict, he terrifies them. Because he could strike at any moment from any direction, and they'd never see it coming. That's the man you must become, ruthless in focus, quiet in execution, relentless in the pursuit of victory. In a world addicted to noise, silence is power. Everyone else is shouting their opinions, posting their lives online, and begging for attention. Don't be like them. Be the ghost in the room, the one no one notices until it's over. The one who doesn't just win, he wins so decisively that everyone who doubted him is left in awe. That's the power of moving in silence. That's the kind of man no one can stop. The moment you start seeking applause, you've already lost focus. Applause is addictive. It tricks you into thinking you've made it when all you've done is talk. Validation is for the weak. The strong don't need anyone clapping for them. They don't care if the world notices or not. Because they know the truth, the work isn't about being seen, it's about becoming undeniable. Most men waste their potential chasing attention. They post every small win, brag about every minor step, and crave approval from people who don't even matter. That's why they never break through. Because while they're busy showing off, someone else is working in the shadows, stacking power, building discipline, and sharpening himself into a weapon. And when that man arrives, he doesn't need to announce it. His presence alone commands respect. Applause doesn't build empires. Work does. Validation doesn't make you dangerous. Discipline does. Attention doesn't make you powerful. Results do. So stop caring about what anyone thinks. Stop waiting for someone to pat you on the back or tell you you're on the right track. You don't need their confirmation. You don't need their approval. What you need is to shut the world out and lock in on the mission. This is how dominance is built. In silence, in solitude, when no one's cheering, no one's encouraging you, and no one even believes in you. That's when killers are made. That's when you separate yourself from the average. Because most people quit when the crowd isn't watching, but you're not most people. You don't need their energy. You generate your own. You keep moving forward, stacking small wins, building brick by brick until the foundation is unshakable. And when the time comes, you won't have to say a word. You won't have to brag or demand respect. Your results will speak for you. Your success will be so loud it'll drown out every doubt, every insult, every voice that ever said you couldn't do it. That's the reward for focusing, building, and dominating quietly. That's what separates lions from sheep. So stop broadcasting your grind. Stop explaining your vision. Stop trying to prove yourself to people who don't even understand the game you're playing. Focus, build, dominate. When you emerge, don't just show up. Show up so strong, so powerful, so untouchable that the world has no choice but to stand and watch in silence. The man who moves in silence is the most dangerous. No one can stop what they can't see coming. In a world obsessed with noise, the quiet ones hold all the power. They aren't broadcasting their plans. They aren't seeking validation or applause. While others talk about what they're going to do, they're already doing it. Every move is calculated, every step taken with purpose. That's why they're dangerous, because no one can prepare for a storm they didn't know was coming. Most people waste their energy trying to convince the world of their potential. They talk endlessly about their goals, hoping someone will cheer them on or give them approval. But words mean nothing without action, and action doesn't need an audience. The man who understands this becomes unstoppable. He doesn't care if people doubt him, laugh at him, or underestimate him. In fact, he wants them to, because their disbelief gives him an advantage. It keeps them distracted while he's in the shadows, building something too big to ignore. When you move in silence, you protect your vision. No one can sabotage what they don't know about. No one can block what they can't see. Your work becomes invisible, your progress unnoticed, until the day you reveal the finished product. And by then, it's too late for anyone to stop you. That's the beauty of operating in silence. It gives you freedom, it gives you focus, and it gives you power. The loudest man in the room is often the weakest. He's broadcasting his plans because he's insecure. He needs people to believe in him because deep down, he doesn't fully believe in himself. But the quiet man, the one who works with no need for attention, is the one to fear. He doesn't need to talk about being a lion because he knows he is one. He doesn't warn you about the hunt. He simply appears, strikes, and leaves no survivors. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. It's a shield against distractions and a weapon against your enemies. While they're busy underestimating you, you're stacking skills, knowledge, and resources. You're evolving into a version of yourself they won't recognize when you finally step into the light. And when that day comes, the impact will be so sudden, so overwhelming, they won't even have time to react. The man who moves in silence doesn't need to announce his arrival. His results do the talking for him. His victories are louder than any words could ever be. That's why he's dangerous, because by the time they realize what he's done, he's already won. The world has conditioned people to crave recognition, to post every move, to seek likes, comments, and approval for even the smallest actions. But those who understand power know that applause doesn't build empires. Validation doesn't create discipline. Attention doesn't secure success. The man who becomes truly unstoppable is the one who doesn't care if anyone notices his grind. He's too focused on the mission to stop and explain himself. Most people waste energy trying to impress others. They announce their plans, broadcast their progress, and expect the world to cheer them on. But life doesn't work like that. The same people clapping for you today will doubt you tomorrow. That's why you need to shut them out. The only approval you should care about is from the man in the mirror. He's the one who lives with your choices. He's the one who knows whether you're actually working or just pretending. Focus requires isolation. It requires sacrifice. It means disappearing into the shadows while everyone else is chasing attention. While they're partying, you're planning. While they're talking, you're working. And while they're distracted, you're quietly stacking victories they can't even imagine. That's how you build something that lasts. That's how you dominate. Not by screaming for recognition, but by moving so relentlessly that the results speak louder than any words ever could. You don't need anyone to clap for you. You don't need them to understand your vision. Let them doubt you. Let them underestimate you. That's fuel. That's leverage. Because the moment you stop seeking their validation, you free yourself. You become dangerous. You're no longer playing by their rules. You're setting your own, and when the time comes, you won't have to demand respect. The empire you've built will demand it for you. Dominate quietly. Don't warn them. Don't announce your every move. Success hits harder when it's unexpected. When you finally emerge from the grind, you won't just be another man. They'll see a force they can't compete with. That's what happens when you focus with tunnel vision, build with discipline, and execute without noise. The world isn't ready for that level of intensity, and that's exactly why you'll win. Forget applause. Forget validation. Forget attention. They're illusions. What matters is the work you put in when no one is watching. That's where champions are made. That's where kings are born. And when the world finally sees you, it won't matter if they believed in you or not, because your results will be too powerful to deny.